Hello, guys. Good morning, good afternoon, and good night. Today, me, Ardus Kumar Renani Belokila, are going to presenting to you about visual data and understanding, and of course, writing about it. This presentation is taken from the informative essay writing course. So let's get started. So, of course, we all know about visual data, right? It was a way of us to do some presentations better. So this is there is a types of charts, graph, and diagrams to support us on presenting something. So we got single line graph, multiple line graph, pair bar chart, percentage bar chart, pie chart, stack bar chart, and this is just some examples like types of charts, graphs, and diagrams. So of course, because we in informative essay writing course, we're going to write about the graph. So before we begin, we have to look at the graphs first. We have to underline the keywords, some related words, like turning nouns into verbs, verb into nouns, adjective into adverbs, etc. Of course, we have to write some opposite words or similar words and some synonyms, etc. Circle and highlight the graph using arrows. Take notes. Circle the biggest, the smallest, stable or unchanging bars, sudden increases, and etc. And the next part, we have to identify the trends. Well, a trend is the overall idea of the graph, like what is happening there, what the changes happens over time, the most noticeable thing about the graph, the pattern over time, like and the pattern for different places or groups of people. Most graph or pie or charts or diagrams will have two trends, and there will be two graphs with a trend in each. You can tell about the two trends in two separate paragraphs. So make sure you have identified the trends in the graph. So when we are writing about graph, there are four main things that we have to write. There are four main things about the graph that we have to write. The first one is introduction, paragraph or paragraph one or trend number one, paragraph two or trend number two, and the conclusion. Sorry. So the introduction, first sentence, we have to describe the graph. You can see some slightly different words or words from those on the question paper, but don't give too much. Just give them not too much. Yeah. Start with the words the graph shows. Second sentence, we can give the trend or the trends. You can put two trends in this sentence or only one if you find it on one, and you can keep the other one for the conclusion. Start by saying overall, blah, 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 blah. Now, let's begin to the first paragraph. Trend number one. You have to start with a sentence with no number. For example, city size increased sharply over the period. Or the most obvious trend in the graph is that women are having fewer babies, and etc. We have to follow this sentence with an example, or the sentence with a number, and perhaps another example, like another sentence with number, and just keep alternating. And then trend number two, we can start. Of course, we can use the same idea as the trend one. Start with a sentence with no number, and then give an example with sentence with numbers, and perhaps another example of it. And then the last thing is conclusion, the last paragraph. We have to finish it by repeating the main trends or identify a second trend. But I reminded you that you're going to need to use a different vocabulary. And don't have any numbers in the conclusion. Just don't put any numbers on it. You can use words like most, the majority, a minority, or a small number, etc. And don't give your opinion because it's graph. It's all facts. While you write, these are some tones that you have to avoid. Like don't describe the x and y, don't write about everything on the graph, don't write about the line or the bar, like the line went up or the bar went down. Instead, write about the idea, the number of people going to, like, for example, the number of people going to work by train increased gradually. And make sure you write about that idea. Don't use shorthand like when man went up or woman went down. Don't use that. Instead, write about the real data, like the number of men at university fell dramatically. That is far more suitable for this kind of work, right? Don't use I feel, as I have written, or as you can see, etc. Just keep it academic because it's an academic kind of rights. Don't start and please don't start the sentence with but, so, also, and, for, since, because, although, because it's still common if you writing about this kind of graph. The word length, 150. Yeah, 150 is minimum. You should have some short sentence about 6 to 10 words and some long ones, about 12 to 18 words. But your average should be about 12 or 13 words per sentence. A sentence without a number will usually be short, so use a mix. A sentence without a number followed by a sentence or two with a number. And that's all, folks. Thank you for your attention. I hope I see you again. Thank you.